ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. XFL week number 3. Alright, so we've gotten through 2 weeks of the XFL. We've had some good play, we've had some shitty play. Now, we've got a recent story out there in the NFL as early as 2020, which is this year, folks. 3 preseason games, 17 regular season games, an extra playoff team. Yeah, I know. I said the same thing. I'm like, what? That's fucking intriguing. Which the NFL, the owners have wanted that for a while. The players don't like the 4 preseason games. It makes sense. So the playoffs would be 7 teams from each conference. The best team gets a bye, not the top 2, the top team. Then we have an extra wildcard team. I like it. It gives more teams a chance to win. You never know what will happen in the playoff. 3 preseason games. Is the NFL and the NFL Players Association looking at the XFL as a minor league? That's what it means to me. Because you typically, in NFL preseason, you have 4 games. Game 3 is the dress rehearsal. The starters play the first half, first 3 quarters. You don't play nobody in the fourth game. Pretty much the 4th game is just there. So if you have 3 games and you have 1 less game, you have 60 minutes less of football to evaluate these players. Now we have the XFL. So what I think the XFL does for the NFL, yes, your 24 starters, your 11 defense, 11 offense, kicker, punter, those are pretty much locks. We know who the starters are for the NFL. These people, these guys playing in the XFL, you ain't going to be the top 24 on a team. You're that 25th spot on the roster through the 53rd spot on the roster, and the scout team. So these players here that have done well in the first 2 weeks of XFL, Cordell Jones, 39 for 63, 511 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. PJ Walker out of Houston, 43 for 70, 449, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. Out of St. Louis, Jordan Tamu, 50 for 64, 493, 4-2, 4 touches, 2 interceptions. If a team is looking for a second or third string quarterback, they're going to look at players like that, because now we're going to have a 10-game season here. You can evaluate as these coaches go, you know what? I've seen this player X in the XFL for 10 weeks. I see potential. Let me get him in my system, see if I can coach him up a little bit. Now, yes, you have the 3 preseason games, you have the workouts. You've got film on this guy now. Rushing, Matt Jones out of St. Louis, 37 for 129. Out of Tampa Bay's running back, Devon Smith, 27 for 125. Now we have film on these guys. If you're looking for a second or third, 4th-string running back, hey, these guys have a good year in the XFL. They're playing similar caliber players as they are. Maybe I'll bring them in and see if with a better offensive line, they can get better numbers, you know. Look at the receiving core. The Los Angeles Wildcats, Nelson Spruce, 17 for 192, 2 touches. Rasheed Ross out of DC, 6 for 147, a touchdown. Cam Phillips out of Houston, 12 for 130, 4 touchdowns. St. Louis has a pair of them. Demonian Pearson, 13 for 114. LaDaniel Washington, 11 for 97. So now you get these players getting, 12, 14, 17 catches in the XFL after 2 weeks. How many coaches are going, I need a 3rd, 4th, 5th receiver. I need a special teams player. I've seen what these guys are doing in these 10 games. I actually think it's going to end up being that way. The XFL will be the minor league for the NFL, unofficially. It's a place where undrafted free agents, players that got cut because they didn't have time to show themselves in camp, go here, have a good season. We go in the off season, draft, and then training camp. They're invitees. They get signed. They get brought in. First 2 weeks, or last week I was 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, and 2-2. Straight up picks against the spread, over under. Which was crazy because I was perfect on Saturday and I had a goose egg on Sunday. It's like, well, what the fuck here? So year to date, I am 4-4 win-loss, against the spread 3-5, over under 4-4. But Yeah, I'm 500. I'm fine with that. It's a new league. It's 2 weeks. So hopefully we get better in week 3. So first game of week 3, we have the Houston Roughnecks 2-0 versus the 0-2 Tampa Bay Vipers. The Roughnecks scoring 32 points a game on average. The Vipers scoring 6 points on offense, giving up 20. The Houston Roughnecks are favored by 5.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 45.5. I think the Roughnecks offense is going to put some points on the board. They can do that. They've scored 65 for the entire year, the most of anyone. The Vipers have scored 12 points, the least amount of points scored in the league. So, 3-0 Houston Roughnecks is what that means. Winning, covering, over on the 45.5. Next up, the battle of the 1-1 teams. We have the 1-1 Dallas Renegades versus the 1-1 Seattle Dragons. Renegades scoring 17 points a game. Dragons scoring 18 points a game. Dallas is favored by 4.5 on the road. I got them winning, covering. I'm taking under on the 44. Next up, battle of the 1-1 teams. The New York Guardians 1-1 versus the St. Louis Battlehawks 1-1. The Battlehawks' first home game, the first football game in St. Louis since the Rams have left. St. Louis is favored by 8.5 at home. Battlehawks are scoring 19.5 points a game. The Guardians are scoring 11.5. The Guardians have been an all-or-nothing team this year so far. They beat the Vipers in Week 1, 23-3. They lost to DC 27-0. At least with the Battlehawks, they played tough against the Renegade. And they ended up winning 15-9, being a 10-point dog or something. Last week against Houston, they almost brought it back. They were down 20. They ended up losing 28-24. They would have gone for the 5-point play at the end of the 5-point play for the extra point. They may have got it, but that's things we're gonna have to learn about the league. So I'm taking St. Louis to win. First game in St. Louis. Hope they're gonna win that sucker. The 8.5 is a big number. I got New York covering that. I'm taking under on the 42. Next up, we have the 2-0 DC Defenders versus the 0-2 Los Angeles Wildcats. Defenders scoring 29 points a game. Defense very stingy at 9.5. While the Wildcats' defense is giving up 31. DC is favored by 8. I got them winning, covering, and picking over on the 45. DC's first game was a win, 31-19. The Wildcats' first game was a loss, 37-17. So both these teams have put some points on the board, so I'm taking over on the 45. So right now, after 2 weeks, we have 2 teams 2-0, 4 teams 1-1, and 2 teams 0-2. What is week 4 going to look like what's week 3 going to look like afterwards? We'll soon find out. This Saturday we have Houston and Tampa, Dallas and Seattle on Sunday, New York and St. Louis, and then DC and LA. Hopefully it's a great week as always. Thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day, have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content. If you're a NASCAR fan, make sure you check out the previews for the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series. If you're a wrestling fan, make sure you check out the lead up to WWE Super Showdown and AEW Revolution previews, reviews, and best ofs all coming within the next couple weeks here on Robert Sports Show. Have a great night.